Hello and welcome, sports fans, to this live video streaming event from Table Rock Sports Productions in partnership with our local school districts and outstanding sponsors who make these live presentations possible. I'm Jim McCoy along with former Osprey Johnny McCoy, coming to you live from the Gary H. Wheeler Field at the Lithia Driveway Sports Complex in Medford, Oregon, and we thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Lithia Superstore pregame show powered by Siskiyou Cellular in Southern Oregon and featuring NWAC South Division Soccer between the Chemeketa Storm and the Rogue Ospreys. We're pleased to bring you this game on TableRockSports.net in partnership with Rogue Community College and our sponsor, Business Partners. Joe Brett is the executive producer for this event. Our sponsors keep these events free for fans to enjoy. Please let them know you appreciate their support. Please help Table Rock Sports by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and thank you if you already have. This portion of our pregame show brought to you by Bill's Glass. Bill's Glass is the clear choice in Southern Oregon for almost 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass. Well, Johnny's been doing my camera all season long, and we finally talked him into putting a headset on. Reason being, he played at Rogue Community College for 2 years and then played all through high school with the Rogue Valley Timbers. Some of those seasons with Greg Millick as his coach. Millick, the head coach over at RCC, and then also a standout at Cascade Christian High School in Medford. And Johnny, I don't think it's a real surprise, to say that this Rogue team has exceeded expectations. They have clinched a division title, and I think when this year began, there was just a lot of question marks about the team. Yeah. What do you think's been the big ingredient?
Well, definitely, like you said, exceeded expectations for sure. I mean, not a ton of returners from last year, especially not a ton of returners who were starters, but I think guys like Reese Fletcher and Noe Cortez and Dan Martinez, who have returned after not playing last year, have definitely stepped up into bigger roles. And I think you can see on the pitch that they have a ton of collectiveness. Whenever they defend together, they're all in it. When they attack, they're all in it. So you can definitely see this year's team has each other's backs, which I think has made the difference for them.
Well, right now, far and away, the leader in the league with 6 goals allowed. Really, the only teams that might be right in that same category with them are all those Washington teams up north that they lost to earlier this season. I just kind of get a feeling defensively that there's an attitude about surrendering goals, and also it just seems like there's some good soccer IQs back there. Of course, it's funny you mentioned Reese, and I remember how nervous he was when you guys scrimmaged OIT about a year ago, that being his very first game out of high school, and he looked a little nervous clearing out of that back line, and now he's between him and Tapia, for sure, Dan Martinez and those other guys on the back line, that they really take pride in what they do back there.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, Reese has definitely stepped up as one of the captains for this year's team, and I also think with the return of Dan Martinez and Noe Cortez, there's a lot more defensive mindedness in that midfield. As you mentioned, Dan Martinez starting in the 8 role today, which I think is going to help, which I'm sure Greg Millick is doing that just to try out some new stuff before playoffs begin, but definitely with those 2 guys in there, kind of takes some weight off the shoulders of Tapia and Fletcher back there.
Okay, we're going to do our best. We got a handwritten roster for Chemeketa. Their starters will be Elijah Valencia, along with Ren Kimizuka. Owen Austin wears number 12. There's also Jay Hernandez, Robert Beltran, Saul Jesus Escobar, Yuto Enai, along with Alder Cruz, Jonathan Martinez, and Oscar Chavez. For the Ospreys, Johnny, talk a little bit about their formation. It looks like what we have is Redondo up front, and we're used to seeing him as a mid. And then he's got Brinkerhoff and Lopez on the wings. And then talk about the rest of his lineup there.
Yeah, well, I think a big talking point here is with Redondo up top. He's not naturally a number 9, so I think what Greg Millick is planning to do is have Redondo sit in a little bit as a false 9, allowing Brinkerhoff and Lopez as inverted wingers to come in and run in behind him or come in and combine off him, which is more allowing for different goal-scoring options in that front three.
Well, I think it's kind of an interesting place to be, and you can talk a little bit about the division title has been won. So you're kind of playing with house money for the remainder of the schedule, and I think probably, you don't want to get your guys hurt and worn out before things really begin to matter again. But on the other hand, you don't want to lose your edge. What do you mentally? You've played the game. How do you approach a game like this?
Yeah, I think you kind of look at it as not like a training session, but more like a scrimmage where you've beaten these guys 4-0 2 weeks ago. I think you just want to try out certain things, and as you can see with the shaken lineup, I think Greg's just trying out certain stuff, and also I'm sure he'll rotate guys and give some of the reserves some more minutes as to clean up the touch a little bit so we can have more options for playoffs.
Also joining us up here in the booth this afternoon, former North Medford High and Rogue Valley Timber standout, also played some academy ball over in Spain for a couple of years.
Yep.
Zach Arneson, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Just a couple of your observations because you've seen your fair share of the Ospreys so far as you've kind of silently joined us in the booth.
Yeah, I like watching them, and I think Greg's actually done a great job with this team this year. They're defending well, a lot better than last year, I think, and I don't know. I think I'm excited to kind of see the postseason playoffs with them because I think there's a lot of potential here.
Well, it's been an interesting league this year, and it goes to show you that I would imagine continuity, trying to bring a team together, because you got maybe if a guy redshirts, he's around for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But they're only around for 2.
It's
What's
different,
that dynamic about trying to put a team together in a 2-year cycle?
I don't know. It takes a different motivation with the team, I think. You got to get them all linked, and chemistry-wise have to get that unlocked pretty fast because you don't have time, like you said, to acquire that over 4 years. You got players coming in each year, new players, new lineups. And, yeah, I think, Greg, this team's looking one of the best I've seen in a few years from them.
Well, I think what's going to be nice about having you guys up here, I've always said that when I was an assistant coach in boys soccer in high school, I was more of a recruiter, den mother, team psychologist, make sure all the uniforms were clean, everybody had their shin guards on. You guys know the tactical part of the game, and it's going to be fun to have you guys kind of jumping in as the game goes along, and it's going to be fun to watch. Of course, Chemeketa historically, Johnny, you can speak to this, has been one of the tougher opponents over past years. This year, though, struggling with a record of 1 win, 10 losses, and 3 draws. But you know that it wasn't that long ago. This team was a tough one.
Yeah, they used to have a lot of firepower in their team, a lot of good attacking players, but I think with a lot of coaching changes over the years, in the recent years, I think it's just been hard to bring new players in to replace that talent that's been lost.
Well, and again, you talk about that culture, that consistency, the leadership, all those things that kind of end up being factors in the mix. Because, again, you know that you've got some handicaps in terms of time to try to work with, and sometimes it works out. I think, 2 years ago, Ospreys, very high-powered offensive team with Joel Sarad, and Johnny, you and Randy on the wings, getting scoring opportunities with all the attention that he drew. This last season, the goals were a little bit more challenging to come by, and you guys ended up with 6 draws on the year. But now, another year later, this team is looking pretty good. Not only are they defending well, but now they're starting to put some goals on the board.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think, last year we did lose a lot of firepower up front, but we didn't have the defensive, I don't know how you say it.
Discipline, I think, is the right word. I think they're much more,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this year they have that to kind of balance out.
All right, so we got the Ospreys moving from left to right. They're wearing that kind of off light gray color with the blue numerals. One of the core colors for Chemeketa is green, and you can kind of see that mid-torso on their uniform. Otherwise, what they're wearing is a black uniform with white numerals, for those of you following along down the line. Just first minute of the match. As you mentioned earlier, Johnny, the Ospreys 4-0 winners in the previous meeting between the two teams. And right now, Rogue riding a 6-match winning streak.
Yeah, it's been quite impressive. I think it's obviously very important to get on a good streak before you go in the postseason. So hopefully the Ospreys are able to continue that here today.
Keeper making the play for the Ospreys. Look like we've got Rodriguez in the net, and he's found himself among some of the league leaders. And well, I know, Zach, you've played a lot of defensive mid and stuff like that. There's nothing like knowing you got a guy in the very back who can take care of business.
Especially one that can play with his feet. I think that's crucial, and that's why I like Gio back there. Is he's confident when he has the ball just like that, and he plays it. Keeps possession for the team.
Well, they got a good 1-2 punch. They can go with him and go with Arias.
Yeah,
in
I agree.
the keeper spot, and it was interesting. I had a chance to talk with Fernando Orozco a little bit earlier, assistant coach for the Ospreys. Yeah, I tell you what, he's loving life right now as assistant coach for the Ospreys. So here with the free kick at midfield, that's Elijah Malencia with these handwritten lineups. It kind of makes it a little bit challenging sometimes to read the handwriting. Not like I can really say anything as far as bad handwriting is concerned, but anyway, the good news is all you Storm fans watching along the way, you know who your guys are, and we'll pick it up as we go along. Fortunately, I was able to work up a stat sheet earlier. That's Elijah Malama. So at least got some of the team leaders here. Team leader in goals is Ren Kimizuka with 4 on the season. And here a little bit down the way, I know one of the guys that you identified as maybe being a potential goal scorer for the Ospreys is Edgar, and Edgar has really come along as of late. And right now, he's the team leader on goals scored for the Ospreys with 9.
Yeah, obviously he's a player with a lot of skill, as you can see right here. Very good with his feet. But I think earlier in the season he was relying more on that skill to get scoring opportunities. And I think more recently he's been able to just find himself in the right spots and just get one-touch finishes. And I think ultimately that's what's going to get you more goals. Because against good defenses, you're not going to be able to create those opportunities every time. So it's more just game intelligence, knowing where to be at the right time.
Well, I think a lot of it, too, for the Ospreys is just getting some cohesiveness up front between Edgar and then Cody Brinkerhoff, Lucas Houghton. Those are a few guys that have been able to provide a little bit of scoring punch there. Elias Castro, he put one in the back of the net earlier this week in the Ospreys 2-0 victory. Playing goalkeeper for the Storm. Trying to pick up a number there. Again, it's just a little bit challenging. I know in some cases, you can probably overdo it in terms of having a lot of fancy stuff to work with. On the other hand, it sure makes it nice when you know who you're talking about. Up the left side, Ospreys working. We're just a little less than 5 minutes into the first half of the match. Play in front of the net. And there is Lopez. Zach, talk a little bit about that play there. They almost looked like they were bagging that one.
Yeah, that was a good cross from Noe, and Edgar, I thought, had it in the bag, but it was a good save by the keeper.
Noe Cortez, another one of those guys that has been an important part of the Ospreys' success. And I think, obviously one of the things that you guys have addressed and talked a little bit about is that there's an unselfishness in this culture. Geller going to try to go ahead and run on to it, getting a little bit of pressure there. Playing right along with them is the leading scorer for the Storm, Ren Kimizuka. Storm throw. Ospreys with the takeaway. Castro trying to switch fields. They're coming on to it. Little contact on the ball. Over there for the Storm is Owen Alston. Martinez will take the inbound.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him in the midfield. I think that's a good change-up for the team, and I'm excited to see how he performs today.
Well, that's kind of one of the nice things when you get at this stretch of the season. It's almost kind of like when you're a baseball team in September and you've got the league title wrapped up. You can bring some of the young guys in from AAA, let them get an opportunity to play, get their cup of coffee, get their experience, and see where maybe they fit, because you never know when a guy's going to go down and you're going to need him.
Or maybe a certain player that's starting that might be better in a different suited spot or a different position.
Yeah,
it's good to see that.
Yeah, it's kind of different now to see Redondo wearing number 7 in the striker role today. Castro with it up the left side. It was a 1v1, ended up 1v3. Tried to kick it through traffic. Now Geller running back along with Fletcher. Geller looking for a teammate. Trying to swing that around, and looks like we have a Storm throw. Alston will take care of the inbound. Looking inside for Martinez. Pleasant day here in Southern Oregon, and we've seen our fair share in this fall of really warm days thus far, but it's kind of nice. Got just enough cloud cover to keep the edge off, but not so much that we have to worry about the threat of rain being up on top of the press box at Lithia Driveway Fields. Work up field, nice little touch pass to Lopez. Edgar, lefty boot, finds a man on the wing. They're going to try to cross it. Ospreys with decent numbers in the attack. Geller slips the defender. And Cortez, man down for
See, and that's
Storm.
what you like to see from Noe Cortez, is that his role in the team essentially is the destroyer. And you can see right there, Chemeketa on the counterattack, Noe says, no, that's not going to happen. Whether I get the ball or I have to foul you, it's not going to happen. Sometimes in soccer you have to take those fouls.
Right. Well, I think it's not unlike basketball in that sense. There are good fouls and then there are dumb fouls. And it's like when you foul a guy on a breakaway, it's like, well, it's either I foul him and let him try to earn him at the free throw line, or I just let him score. Well, coach will tell you it's better, make him earn them. Ospreys.
I also like this from Dan Martinez, dropping between the center backs, demanding the ball, kind of getting things going for the team.
Well, he's got a very interesting, because he's a defensive guy, but I think, he's got some offensive mindedness within him as well.
Yeah, definitely not lacking in technical ability, Martinez. He's very good with his feet, and he's a very creative player.
Now Bringerhoff trying to run onto it, runs it past the goalkeeper. Looked like he might have an opportunity there, but denied this go around. It'll be a goal kick for the Storm. 85, that's Esquivel back in the keeper spot. I'm just telling you guys, if you guys ever get into coaching, make sure that your keepers have at least somewhat readable numbers.
Helps the commentators out.
Yes, it helps the commentators, especially us aging commentators whose eyes aren't what they used to be. No fan of those black on blacks either, like you get over at, we were just doing the South Medford game the other night, and I know it makes you look fierce, and you know, sometimes looking it helps you be it, but on the other hand, it makes things challenging to read sometimes. But now Castro with it. He's in the midfield, working it left side for Brinkerhoff. You're talking about Martinez's skill. That's, you know, always a nice feeling when you're a guy that's in the mid spot and you know that you can tap it back to a defender who not only is he going to keep the ball away from the net, but he's also going to be a guy that can help you out a little bit in terms of having a purpose in terms of his clearances and where he's going to go with the ball. Reese Fletcher. He's kind of the bulldog of that back line for RCC. And this season, I mean, he gave the team quality play last year. Kind of had the Eminem look going with the blonde hair last year. Kind of back to more of probably what people remember being his usual look. Hair in soccer players, that's something you kind of pick up.
It's a thing.
Well, and I imagine you especially saw that a lot in Spain, you know.
Yeah.
But I think there's ways you can do that and be cool, and I think there's other ways you can do that and you just look weird.
Look kind of, yeah.
I'm not sure with Zardes and the whole skunk hair thing. I don't know that really does it for me.
Yeah.
I think that's the way a single guy can stay a single guy. Geller getting the start today defensively. Ordinarily, you'll see Tapia on that back line. But with the Ospreys having locked up a division title and having sealed their playoff fate, it gives a chance for a younger guy like Geller an opportunity to get in and play. Upfield, Redondo, Eagle Point product, one of the local guys on this team. It's funny, on the women's team, it's all local people, but with the guys team, you kind of have a mix of guys that well, some of these guys you guys played with, and then but then you also have some guys from out of town as well, like Brinkerhoff and Fletcher.
Another one there.
Yeah!
Oh, is he offsides? Oh, he is.
So that one taken away. It looked good. And it's like we always tell the guys, hey, you'll get the next one.
I mean, that's the second time that's happened, though. Lopez coming off the back shoulder, and I think that was Jake Cameron there looking for him. That's the second time that's happened, so I think this Chemeketa left back has to be more aware of his surroundings.
Little collision there between Redondo, also there for the Storm, trying to get a look at his jersey number there. I see 24 offering him a hand up. And 24 for the Storm is Elijah Malama. Call a foul against the Ospreys. Free kick. Now in the center of the field, Fletcher behind him. And again, that's trust between your back line and your goalkeeper. Yeah, trying to make a play there. Martinez with it. Jonathan Martinez, that is. And now, Ospreys on the attack. Thought they had something going there for a moment. Cortez. He'll swing it back there for Geller. Action in front of the net. Geller lets Gio run onto it. Big boot up the field. Running onto it for the Storm is Beltran. And now Ospreys have it back. Edgar, along with that skill, he can be physical too. Jose Regalado wearing number 12 for Greg Milliken Company. Left side they go. And over there is Cameron. And I know, Johnny, Cameron was a guy you've been impressed with in terms of what he's brought to the team.
Yeah, definitely in terms of leadership and I think stepping up. I think he's definitely a guy that solidifies that back line. He also has a lot of attacking skill, very quick player, and I think he does bring a lot of game intelligence to the team.
Dealt with a little bit of injury this year, so it's good to see him in the lineup and getting an opportunity to showcase his skills. Meanwhile, Lopez, he's thinking about a look. He's weaving his way through traffic, and definitely good ball handling there by Lopez. Corner kick. Brinkerhoff getting ready to deliver. And they knock it home! The Ospreys have had success on set pieces this year. And there, the Ospreys get on the board. We'll show the replay on that for you. Just a well-delivered kick, kind of a floater. But if you didn't know any better, I tell you what, Brinkerhoff looked like that's exactly where he wanted to go with it.
Yeah, it was a good ball into the back post. Defense was kind of sleeping, and Edgar took advantage.
So the Ospreys capture the 1-0 lead. We're about almost coming up on halfway through the first half. Always nice to get that first goal. It's always a lot more fun to be on top of it instead of having to chase the game. You have to play in a little bit different mindset. Rodriguez surveys the field, goes left side. Fletcher. Upfield it goes, running onto it for Chemeketa is Yuto Anai. Whistle right there, about where the football 37-yard line would be.
I'm not quite sure what that's about.
A free kick, and it seemed like the whistle was a little late, too. So Elijah Malama getting set to take care of the free kick. Storm looking to see if they can't level it up. Deep kick, bouncing over the fence, and Rodriguez will get ready to dial up the goal kick. Well, it also seems like one of the things that the Ospreys are doing well this year is that in the passing game, in terms of the ball movement and the attack, that there's a flow and continuity to it that I don't know that I necessarily expected to see at the beginning of the year.
For sure. I think bringing in a few new players, like you said, and like Edgar brings kind of that swag to the team and a little more of the creativity that the defense can't predict as well. I think that's going to be important in playoffs for them.
Yeah, you know that they're going to see a completely different brand of soccer once we get into playoff time. Granted, they had a look at it at the NWAC friendlies. Now trying to run onto it. Coming along there is Kimizuka. Chases it down into the corner. But that's going to be those Washington teams. There's some tough ones up there.
Oh, yeah. A lot more competition, I think.
Yeah.
It'll be a good test for this team and Greg.
Ospreys just 2 short years ago, a Final Four team in the NWAC playoffs. Joel Sarad now doing his thing down in Southern California and Cal State Dominguez Hills. And
yeah, he's been killing it.
Also seeing some summer action in USL. But, yeah, it's interesting how, you can have a successful team with a big standout player like that. And on the other hand, sometimes you can have a team like the Ospreys have this year. And I don't know that you would necessarily say that these guys are stars per se, but they're a good team.
Yeah, I think they're much more connected. Like I said earlier, I think chemistry-wise, they just look like a unit, all in one and on the same page.
Yeah.
Greg's done a good job with this team, I think, this year.
Rodriguez sent it over to Fletcher. Fletcher goes midfield with it to Martinez. Castro doing battle with Jonathan Martinez of the Storm. But the Ospreys sitting now 9-2 in conference play, 9-3-1 overall. So effectively ran away with the league this year. Second place Portland with 5 wins, 6 losses, and a draw this year. It's just funny to me to see how much the standings have kind of turned upside down in a year.
Going from last year to this year is what you're saying?
Yeah. Like Southwest Oregon.
Uh-huh.
Southwest Oregon, 2 years ago, they struggled. Last year, they were good. This year, they're kind of back on the, on the outside looking in. Free kick. Malama getting ready to deliver. Kick over the crossbar. So the Ospreys with the free kick. Table Rock Sports welcomes Solar Pros and owner Mason Mahaffey to our sponsorship team. Solar Pros can save you thousands on your home solar panels installation. Check out their Facebook page to learn more. Facebook Solar Pros PNW. Geller up the left side. Cameron there going to work. I'll go back to the left wing with it. Working around the horn, Rodriguez. Now for Fletcher. Fletcher with Martinez coming on to him. Regalado gets it back on a one-touch from Fletcher.
Good play from Reese there.
Now Fletcher fighting the old armband. Up the left side of the field they go. Lopez to Cameron. Cameron got acres of space and has Redondo as well. Well played by the goalkeeper Escoval. The Ospreys keep possession. Brinkerhoff. Now for Castro. Castro looking in the direction of Redondo. Storm with the clearance.
I think Cameron had time to take another touch before he fired that shot, but good counterattack from the Ospreys there.
So Cruz working his way upfield with it before the Ospreys end up taking it back. a little better than midway through the first half of play. On to it.
I gotta say, I know you're good. I just got to say, I think it's perfect soccer weather right now. Feels great out here.
Yeah.
The breeze and all.
Yeah, I know some of you guys like playing in the rain, but
Nah.
rain and electrical equipment don't get along
Yeah.
real well. And then if you go downstairs into the press box, you can tell they never really anticipated the idea of a video stream. So you got all those windows down there, and it kind of blurs the view up. Unless you put the cameraman in front of the booth, in which case then he gets wet, and so does the camera. And
He's not happy.
No, no.
Mr. Johnny McCoy.
Prefer to stay dry. When I'm
Yeah.
filming.
Yeah. Ball way downfield. And Yosei Oyama into the ball game for Chemeketa. Work it back. Giovanni Rodriguez.
That's what you like there. Good calm play from your center back to head it back to your keeper, and you can reset.
It sure makes a difference from the guys. If you got somebody who's really nervous back there and kind of, treats the ball like it's a hot potato, and ends up misplaying it. And in your defensive third is just definitely not a place where you want that to happen. Working it upfield, and Castro running in on it, but Escobar also there. He'll get the better of that battle for the moment. Cortez over there with Yahir Lira Lona. Ospreys over on the far side. Another thing I like, this team is strong left and right. It's not like, okay, well, the right side's really going to be their power side and try to make them work at left, but you kind of have to pick your poison with this group.
Yeah. I think when they're swinging the ball and playing possessionally well, I think that is important because it allows you, like you said, you can play on the right, you can play on the left, and if you got someone up top that can finish, it makes it that much easier, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have those games. There will be some high-scoring games there, but especially down the stretch that you're going to get in those defensive lockdowns. And, the less predictable you can be, the better it is.
Yeah.
Feed upfield. Lopez trying to run onto it. He's there. They're able to connect. He'll move to his left. And then he's looking toward that far post. Redondo just behind it as well. So a good-looking attack by Rogue.
See, those are the spots where Edgar can be really dangerous in open space, isolated 1v1. You can see he really loves that left foot. And you can know that he's going inside every time, but it's not really going to matter because he's going to beat you anyway. If they can find him there more often, I think they're bound to score some more goals.
Escobar with the lefty boot. Upfield it goes. Trying to battle for it there is Lira along with Fletcher. Martinez looking upfield. And a guy who can play goalie, who can come off his line like that.
It's important.
And that he's not going to get burned by it.
Uh-huh.
I'll never forget in a high school game, helping out a couple years back, we put a goalie on a high line.
For Cascade.
Yeah, big mistake. Big mistake. The ball, I think the head coach kind of forgot that our keeper couldn't jump over a phone book, and the ball just bounced over his head, and I think it was probably one of a highlight of the season for Illinois Valley. But when you got a keeper, and I know sometimes people say, well, goalkeeper's soccer position for guys who don't play soccer, but you know what? You get a good keeper, you got a weapon. And Gio has it right now. He's just going to back off of it. You can see there, just see his eyes. He's
confident.
Yep,
He's
surveying
good with
the
the
field.
ball, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a difference for sure.
Well, you guys talked a little bit about awareness, and I think that is where a team, and I think maybe historically one of the defensive struggles for the Ospreys has been, you can just kind of see where a guy maybe gets in his own world for a moment.
Oh, yeah.
And just loses the field vision. Meanwhile, right there running up the left side, I believe that is Cameron with it. And ball bouncing around. Now Castro there looking for Regalado. Whistle blows.
I think Edgar's on this one for sure here.
Well, he can lay into it.
Yeah.
Where did Edgar play before here? Do you guys know?
Eagle Point.
Okay.
And he actually played on the Timbers Academy a bit up in Portland, yeah.
Almost the second coming of Martin Hernandez.
Yeah, there's a guy way, way back in the day. Fancy footwork and a guy who played the game with flair. And
ooh, damn.
Ooh. Oh, and the Ospreys score once again.
What a hit, son.
So talk a little bit about that play. And again, another set piece for the Ospreys.
And I think the keeper was thinking that Edgar was going to take it too. Kind of took him off his line, and I think Dan hit a good hit into the far post.
And he just puts it right there in the back of the net. Good pace on the shot. Well, like they say, like the old song goes, when you're hot, you're hot.
Reminded me a little bit of that classic David Beckham free kick versus Greece to qualify for the Euros. Or it might have been the World Cup. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you this much: it was impressive, and there's something about being up 2-0 as opposed to one. Just that 2-goal lead. You feel like you can play. I just think it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, it definitely gives a little bit of insurance, but as they say in soccer, 2-0 is the most dangerous lead. So it'll be important in situations like these right here that they really shore up defensively.
Well, what was the game that you and I did, Johnny, a couple of weeks ago where the Ospreys were up 2-0, and then in the 80th minute after Joe Brett came on, and then the team, were they playing Portland?
Yeah.
And it ended up being a 2-1 decision. And they had a couple of looks late.
Yeah, it's just really important to keep your head, not let your head get in the clouds, and just remember to keep getting the job done.
Right. That this is a 90-minute game, and you serve yourself well to play the whole 90. Sometimes easier said than done. Over on the left side, Kimizuka. And he's going to be that guy that will be a key part of the attack for Chemeketa. They're working on the left side of the pitch. Yeah, just a little over 10 minutes left to go here in the first half. The Ospreys in command here with the 2-0 lead. Osprey throw that looked like Cameron with it. And upfield they go to Jonathan Martinez. Ball out of bounds. It'll be Chemeketa throw. I see Johnson in the ball game for RCC. So he's getting a little playing time. Rodriguez. He's got a nice boot. This will go the Ospreys' way. Getting ready for the throw-in. Regalado. Dan Martinez, they'll cross it over, switch it for Geller. But there for Chemeketa is Yuto Anai. Martinez looking up front. Castro over there. Castro, one of the goal scorers, but now Lopez. Lopez going to take a shot. And it's a goal for the Ospreys as they take the 3-0 lead.
Right place, right time. What's that, his 11th on the year?
That'll be out. There's 11 for him, and
double digits for the boy.
Just 9 more, and he'll equal Joel's output from a couple years ago. But I tell you what, playing within this system, he's obviously, he's hit his stride.
Yeah, sure.
It just seems like, well, it's like you're saying, right place, right time. You know where to be. And that might sound like a little bit of a well-dust statement, but, if it were easy,
yeah,
we'd all be doing it. Martinez, 1-on-2. He'll go ahead and dump it off left side over for Alston. Alston, big kick downfield. Garcia trying to get there. David Garcia wearing number 26 for Chemeketa. So I guess, Johnny, I don't think there's any worry about the Ospreys' readiness for play today.
No, I don't think so. I think obviously it's very important to be ready mentally, and I think we can see that they're getting stuck into challenges like that. When they have the ball, they're playing with purpose, and I'm sure Coach Millick was trying to hammer it into their heads in training this week to not let down after they secured the #1 spot.
Of course, for a number of years, Zach, you played within the Timber system. Did you ever get a chance to play for Greg?
I never played for Greg, but I had a few training sessions with him, and
yeah,
he's very intense when it comes to every day.
Intense is a good word.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's what you want, because the training, I don't know the exact word how to say it, but it produces into the game, basically. How you train is how you play, and
right.
They're looking good.
And there, Lopez race for the ball, and they're letting a fair amount of I was going to say they're letting a fair amount of contact go, but I think they'd seen enough. So the Ospreys, who have been living large off of set pieces today, got the free kick here.
Watch out for Houghton on the set pieces. They don't call him Harry Kane for no reason.
Yeah, Houghton he's a freshman this year, right?
Yeah.
No, he has been, I think, a nice addition to the team. Well, the AR raises the flag, and so it'll be Chemeketa ball. And Johnny, you've played a lot for Greg over the years. I mean, yeah, you can see the intensity and stuff like that, but it seems like he's a guy that can kind of bridge being intense and having some fun too.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important as a coach to kind of understand what the vibe of the team is and when to push it at the right time and when to just chill and relax at the right time. So I think Greg does do a good job with that.
And then, well, I would have to imagine recruiting for a junior college team where it's not like you have lodging and those kind of things. It's there's a lot of work involved with that.
Yeah, I think he's done a very good job with that too. I mean, you mentioned Joel Sorout and Dane Kubo coming from Hawaii, and the Herrera brothers last year from Florida, as well as Luis Mercado from the year before. I think he does a very good job on not just selling the program, but also building a good program to sell to these players.
Yeah.
Because traveling that far to come to a community college is definitely no joke.
Nope. You got to know that when you're coming in, that you got to feel like you're, if you're going to make that trip across the country, that it better be worth the trouble. And
strictly business.
Yeah. Whistle blows. This call's going to go the way of the Storm. Just a few moments left here in the first half of play before intermission. We invite you to stay tuned for the halftime report brought to you by the Medford Parks and Recreation Department. Did you know that the Medford Parks and Recreation Department has the largest provider of community recreation classes, programs, and sports leagues in Southern Oregon? Check out the program guide for hundreds of offerings at playmedford.com. Alston going to go ahead and tap that one back to Oyama. Big kick upfield, wrestled back by Dan Martinez.
I'm liking Dan in the midfield. I like how he's playing in there.
Well, it just seems like there's just he's got a little bit of that Swiss Army knife kind of.
Yeah, get stuck in, and so he's composed on the ball too, which I like.
Yeah. Man down for the Ospreys, but not for long.
Another thing with Dan in midfield too, like I mentioned before, he's very smart. He knows where to be. He can drop between the center backs to pick up the ball and drive the team forward. And you've also seen him a couple times pop out to the right. He kind of knows where he's needed at all times.
Well, and he's one of those guys who's got the build. We know that Reese may not necessarily look the part, but he's a guy that will muscle you, and Martinez has that capability as well. Yeah, a couple of Osprey fans voicing their chagrin with the call there. Yeah, we got a couple of folks around. The weather pleasant, just enough warmth to be comfortable. On the other hand, not so hot that it ends up cooking the equipment, which is never a good thing. Ooh! Probably one of those that looks more dangerous than it is. Waning moments of the first half. Geller pretty much gone the distance here in the first half. So he's getting some extended playing time. And
this is what you like to see from your center backs, getting wide when you have the ball deep, allowing your team to push forward, and just letting the two center backs and then Dan control the ball back there.
Well, you look at it right now, this team in the attack, they've got the team spread, and while Kibizuka had it there momentarily, the Ospreys getting the better of that battle. Now Johnson with it.
Good play.
Yeah, Houghton there. Little two-man play. Trying to get there, trying to make a play on it. Charlie Garcia. Ball out of bounds. Right now, a very pleasant 68 degrees. Going to be about 72 by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, about the time that this match winds up. For you Osprey fans, pleased to report that the Osprey women won once again against Clackamas last night, a 3-1 decision. And they got a little help. Johnny and I were over at the courthouse the other night covering that match and against the Chemeketa volleyball team, and the Ospreys in third at the moment, but Clark did RCC a solid by knocking off second place Lane. So it's getting tied up. All of our fall programs, I really think it's remarkable, for example, what the Osprey women have accomplished after not having a team for several years, and that Gavin Wilmot has done a nice job with that program. Well, we've come to the end of the first half, and the RCC Ospreys owning a 3-0 lead. We will take a 2-minute break to recognize our sponsors, and then when we return, I'll bring you some highlights from the first half. That's right here on the Medford Parks and Recreation Halftime Report on TableRockSports.net.
I ride the bus because it helps me get places on my own terms. Another day, another ride. And it's all thanks to Sophie. Everybody say hello to Sophie.
We ride the bus to get to school. We used to carpool from Medford, but this way, we don't have to worry about gas or parking.
Another day, another opportunity for David to be a public menace.
Hey!
Whoa!
My name is Mason Mahaffey. I'm the Solar Pros Manager of Oregon, and I'm also a teacher and a coach here in the Rogue Valley. Have you looked into solar panels and it didn't make financial sense? I brought Solar Pros here to Oregon to make it more affordable for working class families to put solar on their home. Solar Pros is purposely beating our competitors' prices by thousands of dollars because we are that serious about saving you money. Solar Pros PNW provides the most comfortable, educational, and personal solar experience in Oregon. Visit our Facebook page at Solar Pros PNW to see all of our projects and all the families that we are helping save money.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Come enjoy the patio weather and a brand new menu at Tap Rock Northwest Grill, where friends and family gather and memories are made. Come visit us today or visit our website.
So we welcome you to our halftime report, and it is brought to you by the Medford Parks and Recreation Department. Excitement is building for the January 2024 opening of Rogue X. The Aquatics and Events Center await you with 2 indoor swimming pools and water slides. The Events Center will host basketball and volleyball leagues and tournaments and other indoor events. Visit playmedford.com to check, and your fall activities guide. You can do that too to learn more about the Rogue Credit Union Community Complex, better known as Rogue X. Let's get you some highlights from the first half. The Ospreys with the 3-0 lead, getting things going here in about the 17th minute of the match. The Ospreys on a set piece. Corner kick. And right over there is Lopez. Lopez knocks it home to get his team on the board first. Build a little bit of momentum there. And about 13 minutes later, the Rogues strike again. And again, once again, you can kind of see here on this play, I think it was like the Zach and Johnny were talking about, that they were expecting Edgar to take that kick. And instead, again, let's go ahead and watch that play. Nice free kick there, delivered with good pace and split the seam and drops it in as the Ospreys take the 2-0 lead. But RCC not done yet. Nice play to draw the goalie away from the net. Ospreys slide one through. And that is what helped them build their 3-0 lead. We're at halftime. We got 45 minutes of soccer left. More opportunity to watch the two teams in action. We'll see if maybe the Storm can maybe find some answers, a way to address what they've come up against in this match. What we'll do is take a timeout, and then when we return, we'll get you ready for the start of the second half. At halftime, as you can see on the scoreboard, Rogue 3, Chemeketa 0. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Thanks for the ride. I'll see you after the game.
Hey, Dear Katie, I've been your #1 fan since I watched your first game all those years ago, and I still love watching you play. But I wanted to see you win so badly that my competitive nature got the best of me. I lost track of what's important. I thought I was supporting you, but I was really just embarrassing you. I'm not your coach, and I'm not an official. I forgot my role. I'm your parent, and you deserve better. From here on, I promise to keep my emotions under control. I'll cheer for you and all the other players, no matter the score, no matter the outcome. Thank you for sharing with me how I can do a better job of supporting you, your team, your coaches, and the sports you love. Still your #1 fan. Love, Dad.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Any time is a good time to plan your funeral, except at the time of the funeral. At Conger Morris, we know that there are so many advantages to planning ahead. It eases the burden on our families at their worst time. Pre-planning also alleviates their stress, knowing the funeral costs are already taken care of. And it allows your service to be more meaningful, with all of your wishes being taken care of. Call us today for personalized assistance in creating your own plan. Conger Morris, we'll always be there.
Diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever? Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bros in you.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Welcome back to our halftime report. Jim McCoy along with Johnny McCoy and Zach Arneson, bringing you the Ospreys and the Storm. Looking at the schedule ahead for the Ospreys after today's match, they'll take to the road on Wednesday, where they'll take on the Lane Titans at 1:30 up in Eugene. And then the regular season schedule concludes on Saturday with a match here at home at 2:30 against Southwestern, and we'll be providing the streaming for that on TableRockSports.net. As a matter of fact, it'll be a doubleheader of RCC soccer that day, because also here for a 12 o'clock match, Southwestern taking on the RCC women, and of course Rogue really, they're down to about 11 or 12 healthy players, just their first year back after several years of not competing, and had 3 players go down with ACL injuries this year, and so it's kind of limited things, and yet the Osprey women have done a great job this year of battling through the adversity. 6 draws to go with a pair of wins on the season, so they do find themselves right in the middle of things as far as the Southern Division is concerned for NWAC. And then the upcoming volleyball schedule on Friday, they'll go up the lane, and that'll be a match that'll be even bigger now that the Ospreys have continued their winning ways, but Lane ended up losing to Clark. And then they go up against the juggernaut, Lynn Benton Community College, next Saturday at 2 o'clock. And then the next home date for RCC will be against Umpqua, and that'll be on Wednesday, November 1st at 6 o'clock at the courthouse before the regular season concludes with a match against Southwestern over at their place on November 3rd. What the Osprey men have managed to do, they have sealed their place into the playoff picture, working into the final 8. So I look forward to having them in action coming up on November 4th. Still waiting to see how the picture is going to shake out in terms of who the opponent will be. Got their eyes on a couple of teams. I think one of the matches that Darren Van Len, the athletic director, had his eye on was the one between Tacoma and Walla Walla. So we'll keep you up to date and let you know as soon as we know. And, of course, anything that's played here at home, we'll provide for you here on TableRockSports.net. The Medford Parks and Recreation Department helps sponsor our fall sports coverage. Swim lessons, basketball, and volleyball leagues, the splash pad, and water slides are set to open in January 2024 at Rogax, located at the Howard Memorial Sports Park. You can reserve birthday rooms and packages with sports and splashing. This has been the Medford Parks and Recreation Halftime Show. Visit them at playmedford.com. Zach, Johnny, and yours truly will be back with the second half of play on the other side of this break here on TableRockSports.net.
So what do you do when a loved one has been wrongfully injured or killed? It's simple. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Pick it up. Let's go. Come on. Defense. Defense. What am I teaching you at home? Has this kid played before? Shoot it. Oh. Ah. Come on, ref. Open your eyes. Can't you see out there? So, which one's your kid?
The referee.
You can be a parent, athlete, coach, or an official, but you can only be one. Know your role.
So what do you do when you can't work because you were injured on the job? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
All right, we're back and about ready here for the start of the second half. The RCC Ospreys getting set to do battle with the Storm here in the second half. From where we stand up on the press box here at Gary H. Wheeler Field, the Ospreys will be moving from right to left. They got those light gray uniforms with blue numerals. Storm coming out with their dark uniforms with a little bit of green in there and the white numerals. Things beginning to warm up here in the Rogue Valley. And it looks like we've got a substitution in at goalkeeper for the Storm.
That's a lot.
Here we go. All right, the whistle blows and the second half is underway. Geller trying to run onto it. Clearance by Fletcher as it goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw for Chemeketa here. Kimizuka there. And really, any kind of shot at all has been tough to come by for the Storm, as this RCC team that has really bought into their defensive mentality has done a good job here of really denying much of anything. Seen maybe a couple of through balls and runs downfield that look like they might materialize into something, but there you see Redondo colliding with Jonathan Martinez. Now trying to run onto it is Castro. Castro there on the right wing, 1v2. He's going to go ahead and across the face of the goal he goes. Spinning around on it. There's Cameron. He'll send that back to his keeper.
Good ball from the keep. That's what you like. Into the striker, or into the midfielder.
Now, I don't have a 31 on this. Is that Arias in there at keeper now?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Last couple of years, it seems like Greg has had a small army of keepers. Not all that long ago, had Tobias D'Amato in here. Then now current assistant coach Fernando. And I tell you what, if there's a guy who is just enjoying life right now, and you guys know him really well, he's really embracing this assistant coach's role.
Yeah, I think with this new assistant coaching role at RCC, I think he's solidifying himself as an RCC legend.
Running onto it, Arias got to go ahead and parry it away.
Love to see that from your keeper.
Well, that's the whole thing. If you got your technique right and everything else, I mean, he put a good punch on it and away it went. Rogue throw.
Looks like we got Dan out on the left wing now.
All right, getting a chance to see some time up front, and he has had a great game today. Cameron trying to feed him, but coming onto it there is Yuto for Chemeketa. Alama, Martinez. Little collision there. Swing it around the horn, upfield. And then Cortez dumps it off for Cameron. Cameron looking for Redondo. Kick just a little bit short as Oyama gets there. Now Arias. Want to make sure your keeper doesn't get lonely back there. Plus he can deliver a good ball upfield. Meanwhile, Chemeketa, Cruz, up the sideline they go. Switches it over. Cameron. Cameron wasting no time. Over there is Redondo. Redondo with the little header. Lopez back to Redondo. Ooh. And a shot just left of the post, eluding the goalkeeper. And it'll be a corner kick for the Ospreys, who have had great success on the set pieces this afternoon. And these corner kicks are always interesting. To a casual fan, it just looks like a big blob out in front of the net and everything else. But you guys can speak to it in terms of what the setup actually is.
Yeah, just got to hang it up there for the guys that are good in the air. And then once the ball is up there, it's just kind of a competition of who's more athletic and who wants it more.
Cameron over there with the header. Can't get that one to go. And our apologies for not being able to identify the goalkeeper for Chemeketa, but no numbers on him. And, well, a roster we're trying to do our best with. Goal kick and a yellow card.
Must have been some talk in the box. Ref didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, and depending upon the official, I know we've even seen, at the high school level this year that they're really working on trying to cut down on the gum
talking.
flapping. Yeah. I'm not even going to ask you guys, because we probably couldn't relay it here, what some of those discussions are like.
Oh, yeah. Heat of the moment.
Yeah. Emotions spilling over.
Yeah.
We actually saw a couple of Tuesdays ago a girls' match between South Medford and Grants Pass where a couple of red cards were shown.
Oh, really?
Well, we're talking hair pulling, too. It was fierce. A lot of other times, though, it seems like it's more like a baseball fight, where, a couple guys push and shove, then everybody from the team all spills out onto the field, and
yeah,
pushing, shoving, a lot of talking. Then I think I remember a match, I think it was with Portland last year, where things got pretty, Randy got tangled up with a guy, and it was a little less than friendly.
Same thing happened in this matchup last year, too. Big fight on the other side with good old Chino Berboa.
Oh, yes.
Chino.
And the things that could start it could be anything. Seems like in baseball, they're always worried about somebody showing the other person up. Bat flips and all that stuff on home runs, or walking too slow around the bases and admiring your work. I don't know. There have been a couple of times where I see guys flex after goals and stuff like that. I'm sure the other team doesn't appreciate it, but it seems like more often than not, they just kind of let that stuff go. Then it seems like a lot of that stuff starts more off of contact than anything else. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Storm trying to get something going. Dan working it out of the back. Out of Cameron. Off to the races goes Mickey Redondo. Can't quite get there in time. As the ball bounces away. Geller with it. Coming away with it there is Oscar Chavez. Chavez wearing number 4. Arias with it now. Goes right side. A lot of open space. And Regalado looking upfield for Lopez. Nothing doing there, though. Switch it left side. There's Cameron. Geller, right side, now back toward the middle. Cortez. A little bit of operating room there for Cameron. Cortez, you can kind of see he had a good thought there. Maybe something for Martinez.
Not really sure what the Chemeketa game plan for the second half is. Down 3-0. I'm not seeing any sort of midfield or high press from them.
No, you kind of got the feeling that they're just playing out the string. Which I have to imagine if, you're the team, it's kind of, gosh, I'd like to at least try to make a run at it. But then sometimes you got the issue with the plan and then the execution of the plan. Johnson up there in Cruz's grill. I'll swing it right side over for Oyama. Cameron on the go. You can tell he had a runner in Redondo, but can't connect. Oyama over across from us is Cruz. Free kick. Malama runs onto it. Fletcher and Regalado there. He has a man in front of the goal. Number 25 for Chemeketa is Charlie Garcia. Now a corner kick for Chemeketa. Free kick wide of the net. Out it goes. Yuto Anai getting ready to take care of the corner kick. Kick lands deep. Malama there, but also there is Regalado. Regalado trying to win the ball. Ball bounces out of bounds. Johnson takes the throw. slots it over for Geller. Now Cameron. Ospreys, if the score holds and win the match, that'll be their 7th victory in a row. Redondo onto it. He's going to go ahead and dump it off. Go over to the right side. I'll try to feed it center, looking for Dan Martinez, but that's broken up, cleared by Chemeketa. Keeping it in play is Regalado. A little less than 40 minutes left to go in the match. Malama. Up the left side, Chemeketa trying to work. Regalado, Fletcher there defensively, along with Johnson. Osprey takeaway. Castro upfield. Goalkeeper feeds it right side. Over there is Yuto Anai. Chemeketa on the counter. Kimizuka ends up going down. Now a free kick awarded to Chemeketa. And Nye getting ready to give it a boot over there toward the center. So they're looking for Kimizuka. Also over there, Charlie Garcia. Cruz there along with Malama on the free kick. 3-man wall for the Ospreys. Malama's going to move off of it. Now a kick.
Ooh. Good hit there.
And
wow.
The Storm take a little bit of the edge off of this one as they score. Show you the replay on that. So the set piece giveth and the set piece taketh away, making it a 3-1 ball game. And sometimes that can have a way of awakening a team out of its slumber. But what team will that be? We shall see. Castro with it. Back to Dan Martinez. There for Brinkerhoff. One v2 deflected away by the Storm. So now we got a 3-1 ball game. Ball high in the air, bounces out of bounds. Castro, Martinez. Back over for Castro. Castro looking middle. And a little header play, looking there for Edgar Lopez. And now Brinkerhoff! Cody Brinkerhoff, his 5th goal of the season. 2nd leading scorer on the team. And so the Ospreys get it back. So, Johnny, you've played a little bit with Brinkerhoff. He's kind of, his role's changed a little bit this year, and seems like he's another guy that's really kind of found his place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year he was more of a deep-lying player whose job was just to connect passes and get the team forward, break lines. But I think this year, in the more attacking role, whether he's on the wing or as striker, I think he's able to use a little more of those midfield brains to create opportunities for himself and his teammates.
Meanwhile, Fletcher, so I guess I answered my own question. It looks like the Ospreys back on top of it here. Back to a 3-goal differential as it goes 4-1, and that, I believe, matches the season high 4 goals scored by the Ospreys, who were a very, they had very defensive score lines early on in the season. But in their last match against Chemeketa, ended up with the 4-0 victory. High pop-up kick. You can almost tell as Kimazuka and Fletcher are there that Kimazuka's like, yeah, I heard about you, and kind of laid off of it a little bit. Redondo with the deflection. Cortez. Swing it left side for Dan Martinez. He's got Brinkerhoff there. Now Castro. Castro with room. Little cross. Lopez there. You can tell I don't think he quite got the boot on it that he wanted.
Yeah, a big missed opportunity for the hat trick for Edgar, but as you can see there with Brinkerhoff again, I mean, him dropping in, I think that's what Greg wants from him in that role, is to drop in and then allow others. You can see in that situation where Castro got forward. It's Cody's job to kind of bring the team forward with his link-up play.
So Rogue came in with 21 goals for and 6 against in conference play. So they've improved that now to 25-7. Lane with 32 goals, showing the way in the Southern Division. Castro. Little 1v1 going on there. After the game is a great time to visit Dutch Bros and enjoy your favorite beverage, as Redondo tries to get a foot on it. And when you stop by to get your Dutch love, please tell them thanks for sponsoring these live athletic streams on Table Rock Sports. 4-1. About 21 minutes left to go in the match. Goal kick here for Chemeketa. Goalkeeper gets a good foot on it. Geller there. Out of Johnson. Malama on the move. But there, getting a noggin on it, is Reese Fletcher. Castro. Foot race to the ball. Trying to go there toe-to-toe with them. Is Chavez for Chemeketa. No tackle there by Fletcher. Man down for Chemeketa, but he looks like he won't be down long. Takes a little tumble, and now the Storm with the throw here. Chemeketa corner kick. Kick toward the middle. Clearance by Redondo. Castro. Brinkerhoff. Brinkerhoff can't quite get there in time. Kick toward the center. Rogue getting on the ball. Redondo, Brinkerhoff. Martinez trying to get there, and he keeps it in bounds. Cortez. Dan with it for Redondo. We'll touch on it. Now Castro breaks loose from the Chemeketa defender. Can't quite get there. Storm goal kick. Martinez going left. Castro, Brinkerhoff. Castro winning the foot race to the ball down in the corner. He's looking to cross it. He's got Redondo over there. Redondo. Offside call. Regalado got some operating room, and they'll swing it around as Arias works it over for Geller. Castro plays it off his body, looking over in the direction of Lopez. Ospreys playing possession soccer here. Little collision there. Brinkerhoff back to his feet. And those turf burns are never fun. Today's game is brought to you by Tap Rock Northwest Bar and Grill in Grants Pass, Elmer's Restaurants of Medford, and the Southern Oregon Sports Commission's Know Your Role campaign, promoting respectful behavior at youth sporting events. Arias taking measure of the field. Martinez left side. Way across the field. Lopez there. Brinkerhoff trying to get there. Trying to play that one out of the air. There's Johnson. Redondo having a look. And it's just wide of the left post. Kind of one of those what the heck shots.
Yep, sometimes you got to take them.
Yeah, if it's there. You know, it's kind of one of those time and place type of deals where maybe you think about that a little bit differently if it's knotted up or a close one. But as some wise man once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Can't remember if that was Wayne Gretzky or Michael Scott. I'm not sure. You know we're deep in the game when I'm doing office quotes. Lopez. Look inside. Takes a little shove in the back, and I believe that's Alston over there, and he's going, yeah, I don't know about that. Really? And a yellow card shown there. So it'll be Edgar Lopez Ramirez taking the free kick here, and we've got a little less than 12 minutes left to go.
When do playoffs start for these guys?
Well, for the Ospreys, they'll be hosting a playoff game coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it'll be here.
Okay.
The spoils of victory. I don't think we've seen too many playoff matches down here. Although, didn't you guys start your playoff run, Johnny, 2 years ago here at home?
Against Bellevue, yep.
Seems like I remember a guy crashing on a rebound for a goal.
Yeah, it's also the game that Joel broke the record for goals in the season.
Yeah.
4 goals that match.
That is something else. That's just one of those guys where you just go, you know, a player like this just doesn't come along every day, especially at the JUCO level.
That's right.
But it goes to show you sometimes, you know, you get in these, and while it might be tempting to throw shade, you know, on playing at this level, sometimes, you know, you find those guys that somewhere along the line somebody missed on them.
Yeah, certainly, especially at the slightly bigger Washington schools where you have guys that are definitely D1 or D2 quality, but maybe just didn't have the grades or the opportunity to get scouted by a bigger school.
Well, you just never know. For a football equivalent, just ask Brock Purdy. Last man picked in the draft, or a guy like Tom Brady, 6th round. And soccer has its share of guys that just, you know, some of them were prodigies, but there are a lot of them it's like, where did this guy come from? Regardless, but when you got an opportunity to continue your education and begin to do something you enjoy doing, RCC soccer men's program in its 9th year. I can remember for several years there wasn't any opportunity like this, but Johnson there with the play, and now to Brinkerhoff. Johnson going to try to run onto it. Little foot race back to the ball. There with him is Joey Hernandez. And it looks like Cody's going to go ahead and take care of the corner kick. Well, either that or Dan Martinez, and that's, I think, we're going to go there. And it looks like we've got Lucas Houghton into the match. Osprey throw. Cleared, but Castro there. Now to Dan Martinez. Malama, he's 1-on-2. Manages to split the difference there, and he's off to the races. Malama now going to go ahead and feed it left side. Got a couple options there. Floating kick. Arias just said, no, I'm going to let this one go. And ends up wide of the post. Substitution on for RCC. And Valdivinos checks in. See a couple guys coming on late. Coach Millick looking to preserve the strength of his team. For Yahir, I believe that is his first appearance of the match. Geller sends Reese on a jog. Big kick up field, but stepping in front of it there for Chemeketa is Oscar Chavez. Deep kick up field. Chemeketa ball. Or is saying, I got this. Redondo sleeping the defender. Brinkerhoff has it taken away. Chavez up the field to Kimizuma, and there with the slide tackle is Reese Fletcher. Martinez, Castro. Now Brinkerhoff. He's got a foot on it, and he's going to try to deliver it. But can't quite get it center.
Jim, I want to know your thoughts on the biggest difference between last year's squad and this squad. Like, kind of what you think might be
You know, I would have to be in agreement with some of the stuff that you guys have shared. I think some of it's culture.
Yeah.
Leadership. And I think that there's some guys who've come from other places. I know like with talking with Coach Millick, I think when you bring in, and that's not to say that, the guys that were there were flawed by any stretch of the imagination, but I think when you're talking about the captaincy, that there's a certain quality a player has to have about them. And those guys are, in the right situation, they're an extension of the coach.
And bringing it all together, kind of like you're saying, yeah.
Because, the reality of it is, that as a coach, all you can do is help put your team in a position to win. The winning has to be done by the players. And I just think that I know one of the things that Coach Millick talked about, one of the things that has been huge on the part of Cameron is what he's brought to the team in terms of leadership. I also think after a year off and, just, how do we say it, with some of the adversity that Dan Martinez has gone through, those things have a way of maturing you as a person, and I think he's playing with a real fire in his belly this year. No doubt dedicating this season to his brother Victor, and,
goes for the whole team, I think, in that situation. It's kind of fueling them.
Yeah.
I think it will fuel them to the playoffs.
Yeah. And because, there's a certain amount of this team that has changed. But by the same token, I think a lot of it just kind of comes down to certain, mentality. And a lot of that mentality going to come from the leadership. And learning how to do that leadership part, because you can have guys that can yell at their teammates and stuff like that, and you get some guys that he yells at you, and you take it to heart, and you say, okay.
The response to that, yeah.
Then sometimes you get a guy who starts doing that, and you're thinking, man, shut up.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that factor into that as well, depending upon the character, I think, of the leader. Sometimes being that guy who's willing to call out
exactly.
a teammate.
I think it's important to have that in the team.
And it's not easy. It's not easy to do. Some guys, it's just like, hey, it's just not me. But hopefully, somewhere in that mix. But then again, that's the thing. There are, it's like even in the business world, you have bosses, then you have leaders.
Yeah, they always say a good boss is a good leader with his team or with anyone he's working with.
Yeah.
And I think Greg has brought this team together a good amount to where, like you said, they're all on the same page and they all have one goal, and that's to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of an interesting deal because I don't know, and maybe you guys can speak more to this. I don't know that necessarily the Ospreys have a quote-unquote classic striker there, but you've got guys on the other hand, you can still be very effective with guys playing up that are wingers, attacking mids.
For sure. They're missing Johnny McCoy at the 9 up there.
The motor was always running. Loved that wings back spot. Well, and then you guys can probably, Johnny, probably you more than me, talk about how much what Greg does. Because there's some coaches that's like, this is my system, this is what we're going to do, and this is the way it is. And then there are some coaches where it's like, well, okay, I've got this kind of team or these kind of players this year, so I'm going to modify what I do. How does that work with him? Does he recruit with a certain type of system in mind, or?
Yeah, I think so. But I think once you have your squad set, I think you have to adjust your system to the players that you get. But yeah, I think he does do a good job of adapting.
Well, he's moved some players around. You're talking about Brinkerhoff earlier. His role has changed, and If I go back a couple of years, obviously Dan's role was very different than what it is now.
Yeah, started playing left back, and now he's playing left wing and midfield. And you can definitely see with his goal contribution that he's very much more a driving force in this team.
Well, that's going to wrap this one up. The Ospreys maintain their winning ways and come away with a 4-1 victory. I think I'll just go ahead and do a quick post-game wrap here. It's for the Oregon Sports Commission Know Your Role campaign. We'll just kind of take you through some of the highlights of the match and call it a day, but a positive day for Greg Millick and company. Starting off the match, wrong about the 17th minute. Good corner kick. Brinkerhoff floats it. There on the far post, awaiting it, poking it home, is Edgar Lopez Ramirez. And he ends up making it a 1-0 ball game. And then in the 31st minute, Ospreys on a free kick opportunity. Line drive kick finds its mark, and it's a 2-0 match. And Rogue continuing their offensive success. Here, the goal gives them the 3-0 lead. Then Chemeketa in the second half. They poke home a goal. Well played ball by the Storm. And it's a 3-1 ball game. But within a couple of minutes, the Ospreys answer. And that takes us to what our final score is of 4-1. So RCC, no let up here today. They raised their conference record to 10-2. And they have a 10-3-1 record overall. Chemeketa now goes to 1-9-3. The Ospreys will be again in action on Wednesday, and then we'll see them again next Saturday. Doubleheader action here at Lithia Driveway Park as both the Osprey men and women take on Southwestern Oregon. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap up our match here. And we thank you for watching today's broadcast. We'd like to thank RCC Athletic Director Darren Van Len for hosting the Lithia Superstore Game of the Day on TableRockSports.net and today's broadcast. Our special thanks to our head coaches today. And again, our next broadcast of RCC Soccer will come up next Saturday. Again, the final score on the John L. Scott scoreboard showing RCC 4, Chemeketa 1. This has been a special presentation of Table Rock Sports. Our executive producer is Joe Brett. With Johnny McCoy and Zach Arneson, I'm Jim McCoy saying thanks for watching and have a good afternoon from Lithia Driveway Field in Medford, Oregon.